Welcome to This Explainer. Today we're diving into a massive paradox surrounding one of the absolute most talked about companies in aerospace right now, Rocket Lab. There is this staggering disconnect between their recent stock performance and their actual future potential. So we're going to break down the hard data to figure out exactly what is going on behind the scenes of this $50 billion aerospace behemoth.
To really wrap our heads around the current landscape, we have to start with one specific number, 57%. That is the dramatic, frankly shocking drop we've seen in Rocket Lab's stock. It tumbled from an all-time high of $151 back in June, all the way down to a low of $56 in late July, before settling around $80 today. If you're a focused investor or even just an aerospace follower, a drop of that magnitude signals some crazy volatility. It naturally raises some massive red flags.
But right away, we hit some serious cognitive dissonance. Because despite that massive 57% drop, Wall Street analysts are projecting a 49% upside from current levels. The average price target sits at $111.31, with the highest target reaching a super optimistic $150. So we've got a classic showdown on our hands. How on earth can a stock plummet so violently while the professional consensus remains so aggressively bullish?
Part 1. The Revenue Engine inside Rocket Lab.
Okay, so what exactly justifies this company's massive $50 billion market cap? Simply put, Rocket Lab is not just a launch company. Not anymore. They are a fully vertically integrated end-to-end space powerhouse. They essentially operate in two core segments. First up, launch services. This is powered by their Electron rocket, which has an incredible track record of 92 successful missions to date, including 13 in 2026 alone. The second segment is space systems. This is where they design, build, and operate, well, everything, for heavy hitters like the US Space Force, NASA, and DARPA. They're a true one-stop shop for space.
And you know that vertical integration? It is translating directly into record-breaking financial results. The numbers from their August 10th Q2 report are honestly wild. Revenue hit an all-time high of $234.1 million. That's a massive 62% year-over-year surge. If we dig a little deeper, their product revenue alone jumped 96% to $181 million. The sheer velocity of this top-line growth is exactly why the bullish analysts are absolutely pounding the table right now.
But as we know, revenue is only half the story, right? The Q2 results were a bit of a mixed bag, a real financial tug-of-war. On the bright side, gross margins improved to 36%, and they are sitting on an incredible $2.36 billion backlog. That's up 137%. Plus, their Q3 revenue guidance of $250 to $265 million is well above consensus. But here's the bad news. They missed their earnings per share estimate, coming in at a loss of 8 cents per share. The reality is, despite bringing in massive revenue, they are still burning cash, posting an operating loss of $57.5 million. It's that classic aerospace paradox. You're making absolute bank, but you're still losing millions.
Part 2. The Government and Corporate Mega Deals. So they're burning cash, sure, but they're winning business at a staggering rate. Literally in the span of just one single week in late July and early August, Rocket Lab secured a jaw-dropping $663 million in U.S. Space Force contracts. First, on July 27th, they locked in a $266 million deal for 12 guaranteed suborbital launches from Alaska. This is their largest launch contract ever, and it even includes options for 6 more. Then, just days later on August 4th, an even bigger $397 million contract for the Space Force's highly advanced SB-AMTI program.
And that second contract introduces a really fascinating term into the aerospace lexicon, flatelites. Basically, these are next-generation flat-panel satellites specifically designed for large constellations. Their main job? To detect and track airborne threats in real time from space. And because of Rocket Lab's vertical integration, they aren't just launching these flatelites. No, they are contracted to build, launch, and operate these critical threat-detecting systems for the government. It's the whole shebang.
But government contracts are really just one piece of the puzzle here. Back in June, Rocket Lab dropped an absolute bombshell on the market. $8 billion. That is the size of their massive acquisition of Iridium Communications. They're paying $54 per share in a half-cash, half-stock deal that's expected to close in mid-2027.
Absorbing Iridium's global network completely changes Rocket Lab's identity. It transforms them from a prominent launch and satellite provider into a totally formidable global telecommunications powerhouse. Iridium brings over 2.55 million active subscribers to the table. By combining this established network with Rocket Lab's manufacturing and launch capabilities, they can design, build, launch, and operate massive constellations.
However, we have to acknowledge the reality here. Integrating two giant companies of this scale before that mid-2027 close adds a major layer of operational complexity. It is literally like trying to change the engines on an airplane while it's mid-flight.
So we have massive revenue, billion-dollar backlogs, and an $8 billion telecom pivot. Honestly, it sounds unstoppable. But let's pause for a second and ask the most dangerous question hovering over this entire company. What if Neutron doesn't fly?
Part 3. The Neutron Rocket Dilemma.
This rocket is the absolute critical failure point of the entire bullish narrative. Neutron is Rocket Lab's unproven, medium-lift, reusable rocket, and it's designed to go toe-to-toe with SpaceX's Falcon 9. The roadmap they've laid out is incredibly ambitious. They're targeting Q4 2026 to deliver Neutron to the launch pad. After that, the massive Iridium deal is slated to close in mid-2027. And by 2028, Neutron is already booked for its first dedicated launch mission with Kepler Communications. It is an incredibly tight, highly dependent timeline.
And the crucial point for you to take away here is just how fragile this schedule really is and the domino effect it creates. During testing in January, they had a propellant tank failure that delayed the timeline. Actually, making matters worse, during the Q2 earnings call, management noticeably stopped short of explicitly stating Neutron would fly this year. In fact, Bloomberg reported there's a very real risk the vehicle might slip all the way to 2027. Now, why does this matter so much? Because that massive $397 million Space Force contract for the Flatelites, it completely depends on the unproven Neutron rocket. If Neutron faces a delay, the Space Force might get nervous. One single failure here could topple all those other successes, making this, for sure, the single biggest risk for investors right now.
Part 4. The final verdict. Bull versus bear.
With all of these moving pieces, the record highs, and the significant risks, it's time to objectively weigh it all out. There's a quote from an analyst that perfectly captures the current Wall Street sentiment. Rocket Lab stock isn't without its risks, but revenue is rising quickly and losses are narrowing. As we noted earlier, consensus ratings sit firmly at moderate to strong buy. Analysts like Clear Street's Gregory Pendy are reiterating a buy rating with a target of $129. The financial community sees the risks, absolutely, but they clearly favor the growth trajectory.
So let's impartially break down the two sides of this $50 billion coin. For the bull case, the numbers are undeniably strong. You've got 62% revenue growth, massive visibility provided by a $2.36 billion backlog, the huge validation of $663 million in Space Force contracts, and of course, that highly strategic Iridium telecom pivot. But we have to look at the bear case with equal weight. The company remains completely unprofitable. They're trading at a steep $50 billion valuation for a business that's burning cash. Plus, there are immense integration risks with the Iridium deal, incredibly high stock volatility, and the massive looming uncertainty surrounding the unproven Neutron rocket.
Look, Rocket Lab is undeniably one of the most thrilling and ambitious companies operating in the space industry today. They have the vision, they have the contracts. But Neutron is the ultimate key to watch. It is the absolute linchpin holding their most lucrative future plans together. So having seen the incredible revenue momentum weighed against the very real aerospace and integration risks, are you buying Rocket Lab at these levels? Thanks for tuning into this explainer. Keep your eyes on the launch pad, and we'll catch you next time.